Hi everyone, it's Sue here from Wellness with Sue, and I had something on my mind I wanted to share with you and sort of talk about a little bit. So in yoga, we always talk about the physical aspects of yoga, and then I talk about the energetic aspects of yoga. Uplifting energy, downward grounding energy, expanding energy, contracting energy. All these different things can happen as we practice yoga and use certain asanas and certain types of practices. That's pretty common. You know what else has a lot of energy? Words. Words has a lot of energy. Whether you say them out loud or whether you think them internally, whether you direct them outward or whether you direct them inward. So I'm going to ask you, what kind of words do you use? If I were being honest, which I want to be transparent, I would say 80% of my time and my words are positive. And then there's that other 20% time where not so nice, mostly to myself. And, as a woman, especially as a woman who's aging, this type of work has become very important to me in my life because I don't want to walk around with all this negative energy outward to other people or the world or inward to myself. So I came up with this idea. It's not my own, actually. It comes from a lot of different places where you might write down a half a dozen words, maybe a little less, maybe a little bit more, depending on what's inspiring you, of positive words that just come to you, that you might use or you might sense that you want to incorporate. I'll give you an example. So I wrote 4 or 5 of them down this morning. Curiosity, abundance, love, manifesting, joy. And that was just right off the top of my head. I didn't think about it too much. I just was like, what kind of words come to me right now at this moment? And of course, tomorrow it might be different. But I came up with those 5, like right off the top of my head. And then I started to think, well, why? Why did I come up with those? Well, a lot of times I tell my students, be curious around your yoga practice. Don't get heavy about what you can and cannot do or what I am teaching you or not teaching you. Just become curious about your response. And so I thought that was interesting that was one of my words. And love obviously is one of my words. I talk about being in love and loving my life and loving the people around me a lot. And so you might even have all of this language. You don't say it outwardly, but you have an internal dialogue with yourself that has a positive gratitude kind of feel to it. So here's the second part of my suggestion. So the first part, actually there's 3 parts. The first part is, how do you speak? How do you use words? Are they energetically uplifting or are they a little bit not? Second is to make a list of a half a dozen or so words that are uplifting, positive, gratitude-like. And then the third part is to create a mantra, a saying, an intention, using some or all of the words where you could say it every day to yourself and to others if they want to listen. And what does this do? Like, why do I have you doing this? Why am I suggesting it? Because energy, we want to uplift your life and your world in a positive way with words. That's simple. I don't know any woman, and my audience primarily is women, that wants to have a negative kind of miserable experience. None of us want to do that. We're all aspiring to live our best lives. but sometimes we don't know that we get in our own way, which is pretty common. Most of what we deal with is internal dialogue. And in Ayurveda, we have a saying that says, your mind is at the heart of all dis-ease, whether it's emotional, mental, physical, your mind. And so what better way to start to shift it is to create these little rituals, these little ceremonies, these little practices. I like to call them profound practices because they're not really big and they can have a profound effect. So that's my inspiration for today. I hope you enjoyed this little idea. Are you positive with your language? Does your words have a positive, uplifting energy to them? Can you come up with a half a dozen or so words that just come right off the top of your head, that don't think about it, that have a positive, uplifting energy to them? And then can you create a sentence or a mantra or an intention with some or all of these words that you can repeat regularly? If so, and you want to share, I'd love to hear from you. You know, maybe back in an email if you have my email, maybe back on Facebook in the comments. And if you're seeing this on YouTube, you can always leave a comment on YouTube. Okay, everybody, have a blessed day. And until next time, see you soon.